Well, hello to all of you who have tuned in. It's another Tuesday, and here we are. And I'm Ken Walker once again. And going to talk this morning about another plant from the island called Cypress spurge. Now, when you look it up, and you look up the word spurge, it comes from an old English word which means purge. I'll get into that in a little while, but just keep that in mind for right now. The main thing when you're looking at plants, back in the 18th century, we started to classify plants and animals the way we do now in the modern way. Before that, it was like whatever looked like each other had to be related. And that's the way they worked, and that's fine. That was the technology of the day. Today, we're more into genetics and stuff like that in chemistry. So the whole idea of taking a plant or a animal and linking it up to all of those that quote unquote it belongs to is very involved and actually shows how incredibly diverse evolution is. And things that you would never put together are together. So here we go with Cypress spurge. It is in the family called, or I should say the genus called Euphorbia. And in that genus, there are 2,000 species alone. And very few of them look like Cypress spurge. It's kind of interesting because it's the whole genus, and I have not found a reason why this is, so I leave it there. But it's the Euphorbia is named after a Greek physician, Euphorbus. And again, I looked him up and not much information there either, but his key to fame is that he married the daughter of Antony and Cleopatra. I mean, I find that interesting alone, but how he got attached to all of these plants, I'm not certain, but I'll leave it there. If you take it up again from the genus level to a family level, then to an order level, and you're getting just more and more composed in these levels, it's in the order of Rosidea. And if you listen to that, it's based on the rose. Trust me, the Cypress spurge and the rose don't even look like they know each other, let alone related to one another. But as I said, there's 2,000 species in here. And this Euphorbia genus, it is the 5th largest flowering plant family amongst all vascular plants. The 5th largest. And when I start reading about this stuff and gaining the information, I'm sitting there, that's incredible. And here it sits on the island in this little area, practically unnoticed, unknown, and yet, I'll give you a couple instances here. It's related to milkweed. And there's a couple interesting things there, but related to milkweed. But then it's related to the poinsettia. And as this weekend, a few days ago, was the crown of thorns. Now, I could see poinsettia and crown of thorns. They have the thorns and the flowers, and yes. But the family is mostly composed of succulents, very fleshy leaf type plants, and cacti living in the desert. So, think of your own family. This one is very diverse. You'd have cousins and stuff showing up that don't even look like you, don't even sound like you, and probably don't even know you. But that's evolution, and it's a beautiful thing when you really start to look at it. So it's a very large grouping of plants. It came to North America in the 1860s brought from Europe, basically as an ornamental plant in gardens and stuff, and just got loose after that and became more domesticated. It's herbaceous to semi-woody, and all that means is a herbaceous plant has no wood in it, and it's your typical plant out back or a weed or anything like that. To something, if it grows big enough, it'll take on more of a structure of a semi-woody plant. Its maximum growth is anywhere from between 20 centimeters, which is about 8 inches, to 40 centimeters, which is about 15, 16. So it's not a very big plant either. What's interesting is when it starts off, and this is what struck me when I first saw it on the island, it looks like these little tiny trees growing up, something like a conifer tree. And I went, oh, look at them, And yet, as it grows more into a bush. And while it has green leaves that do photosynthesizing, it has what's called bracts. And bracts are leaves that have no chlorophyll in them, and they don't photosynthesize. And I guess they're for attracting insects or something. I mean, it makes the plant look pretty. And when it's young, these bracts are a yellowish green. But as they get older and the plant matures, they turn purple and red, and it's really beautiful. And this whole transformation goes from about May to August. So anytime on the island, you can actually see this plant. It reproduces 2 different ways. And from what we have on the island, I wouldn't say it's an abundant producer, but it makes fruits, little tiny fruits. And in the fruits, there's the seed packets. And these fruits, and you don't want to be there when this happens, because they explode. And I guess if you're sitting there, you're going to be a fertile garden for this stuff. And the seeds can be shot up, upwards to 16 feet. So there's a lot of power and pressure in these things, and all of a sudden, you don't want to be looking at it and have it in your face. You really need right now social distancing from this plant. It also does it like many other plants, just through lateral roots, and it will send its roots out, and out of the roots, little more stems will grow. So it has the ability to really take over a spot, and yet on the island, as far as I'm aware right now, it's been very confined to a very small spot. Going back to what I said, though, at the beginning, that its Old English name of purge, which is a laxative, its sap, like the milkweed, is kind of a white latex, a very kind of thick sap. And if it's broken, or you break it, it could give you a rash on the skin. Now, the thing is, it's about ingesting it more so, and I have no idea under the sun who would eat this stuff. But there's warnings, because given the fact that it's a laxative, it'll give you irritation in the bowels, diarrhea, I guess if you do enough of it. If you get too much in you, which is highly doubtful, though, you could collapse and eventually you could actually die. So you want to really give this stuff, it's pretty to look at maybe, or interesting to look at, but the thing is, don't touch. In New Brunswick, there are only at the moment 11 known, and I stress that, known locations. It could be all over the place, but we don't know about it. And out of those 11, one, of course, is Beaubears Island, the other is French Cove. Now, I know the general area in French Cove, but I have not actually found the specific spot. So it's a kind of a rare plant for New Brunswick, but it could be more common than we know. So the thing is, I've given you now 2 plants to come over and look at, and I hope you do. There's a lot more to go with this. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be looking at some animals that run around the island. Well, all. So hope you enjoy these. Let me know how you feel, and I'll keep going. Thank you.